You know, there comes a moment in your life when you have to make a choice that goes against everything you've been taught, a choice that feels wrong at first, but is actually the most loving thing you can do, not just for yourself, but for others too. That choice is learning when not to help. I know what you're thinking. You've been raised to believe that helping others is always the right thing to do. Your parents told you to be kind. Your teachers told you to be generous. Your religion probably told you to turn the other cheek and give until it hurts. And there's truth in all of that. There's beauty in all of that. But here's what they didn't tell you. There are people in this world who will take your kindness and use it as a weapon against you. There are people who will drain every ounce of energy from your body, steal every moment of peace from your mind, and leave you empty, exhausted, and wondering what happened to your life. Today I'm going to talk to you about 6 types of people that you must not help. Not because you're cruel, not because you lack compassion, but because helping them is actually hurting them, and it's destroying you in the process. This is about understanding the difference between genuine help and enabling destruction. This is about learning to say no with love. This is about protecting your energy so you can give it to the people who truly need it and will use it to grow. The first dangerous person you must not help is the professional victim. You know this person. They're in your life right now. They're the ones who always have a problem, always have a crisis, always have a reason why life isn't working out for them. And here's the thing. When you first meet them, you feel sorry for them. You want to help. You think, if I just give them a little support, a little money, a little time, they'll get back on their feet. But months turn into years and nothing changes. The problems just shift. The crises just multiply. The reasons just get more elaborate. The professional victim has made suffering their identity. They've built their entire sense of self around being the person things happen to. They're not living life, they're enduring it. And they need an audience for their suffering. That's where you come in. Every time you rush to their rescue, every time you solve their problem, every time you give them money or time or emotional energy, you're giving them what they really want, which isn't a solution. What they want is validation that they are indeed victims, that life is indeed happening to them, that they have no power and no responsibility. You see, the professional victim has a story, and your help keeps that story alive. The story goes something like this. I'm a good person, but the world is against me. People are against me. Circumstances are against me. If only things were different, if only people would help me more, if only I had what others have, then I could be happy. Then I could succeed. Then I could live the life I deserve. But right now, right here, I'm stuck, I'm powerless, I'm the victim. When you help the professional victim, you become a supporting character in their drama. You confirm their belief that they need rescuing. You reinforce their sense of powerlessness. And here's the cruel irony. The more you help, the more helpless they become. Because every time you solve a problem for them, you send a message, you're right, you can't do this on your own. You're right, you need someone else to fix your life. You're right, you have no power. Real help, true help, compassionate help looks completely different. Real help says, I believe in your strength. I believe in your ability to handle this. I'm not going to rescue you because you don't need rescuing. You need to remember who you are. You need to reclaim your power. You need to take responsibility for your life. And I'll stand beside you while you do that, but I won't do it for you. The professional victim doesn't want to hear this. They'll get angry. They'll accuse you of being cold, of not caring, of abandoning them in their time of need. They'll find someone else who will play the rescuer role. And that's okay. That's their path. Your path is to preserve your energy for those who are genuinely ready to help themselves. The second dangerous person you must not help is the energy vampire. This person is different from the professional victim, though sometimes they overlap. The energy vampire doesn't necessarily present themselves as helpless. They might be successful, charming, even inspiring at first glance. But here's how you know you're dealing with an energy vampire. After spending time with them, you feel exhausted, drained, empty, like someone reached inside you and pulled out your life force. Energy vampires feed on your attention, your emotions, your reactions. They create drama not because they're victims, but because drama gives them energy. They pull it right out of you. They'll call you with emergencies that aren't really emergencies. They'll engage you in conflicts that don't need to exist. They'll dump their emotional garbage on you and walk away feeling lighter while you're left carrying the weight. Here's the thing about energy vampires. They're unconscious. They don't wake up in the morning and think, today I'm going to drain the life out of everyone I meet. They don't know what they're doing. They just know that when they're around certain people like you, they feel better. And so they keep coming back, they keep taking. And if you let them, they'll take until there's nothing left. You cannot help an energy vampire by giving them your energy. That's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it's never enough. The bucket never fills. The only way to help an energy vampire is to stop feeding them. Stop giving them the reactions they're looking for. Stop engaging in the drama. Stop being available for every crisis. Create boundaries. Protect your peace. And when they get angry, when they accuse you of changing, of not being the friend you used to be, understand that this is their addiction talking. They're addicted to your energy, and you're cutting off their supply. The most compassionate thing you can do for an energy vampire is to force them to find energy within themselves, to stop looking outside for what can only be found inside, to learn to generate their own light instead of stealing it from others. But they'll never learn this if you keep giving them what they want. The third dangerous person you must not help is the chronic blamer. This person has a special talent for making everything someone else's fault. Their marriage failed because of their spouse. Their career tanked because of their boss. Their health is poor because of their doctor. Their finances are a mess because of the economy. They are never, ever responsible for anything that goes wrong in their life. The chronic blamer is trapped in a prison of their own making, but they can't see the bars. They can't see that the key to their freedom is in their own pocket. They're so busy pointing fingers that they never look in the mirror. And when you try to help them, when you try to offer solutions or suggestions, they have a reason why it won't work. They have someone else to blame for why they can't take action. You cannot help someone who refuses to take responsibility for their life. You just can't. Because help requires participation. Help requires ownership. Help requires a person to say, yes, I played a role in creating this situation and therefore I have the power to create a different one. But the chronic blamer will never say this. They're too invested in being right about being wronged. When you try to help a chronic blamer, you become their next target. Eventually, when your help doesn't fix their life, because nothing can fix a life that won't be fixed from the data inside, they'll blame you too. You didn't do enough, you didn't care enough, you didn't understand. You're just like everyone else who let them down. And round it goes. The most loving thing you can do for a chronic blamer is to refuse to participate in their blame game. Don't agree with their assessments. Don't feed their narrative. Don't let them use you as a dumping ground for their resentment. Instead, gently reflect back to them. What's your part in this? What could you have done differently? What can you control moving forward? Most won't want to hear it. Most will walk away, and that's okay. Your job isn't to force people into awareness. Your job is to maintain your own. The fourth dangerous person you must not help is the perpetual user. This person sees relationships as transactions. They see people as resources. They see you as a means to an end. They're nice when they need something. They're charming when they want something. But when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. They're busy, they're unavailable. They're dealing with their own stuff. The perpetual user has developed a sophisticated strategy for getting their needs met without ever giving anything in return. They know how to make you feel special when they want your help. They know how to make you feel guilty if you hesitate. They know exactly which buttons to push and which strings to pull. And if you're a naturally giving person, if you're someone who finds meaning in helping others, you're the perfect target. Here's what happens when you help a perpetual user. You teach them that using people works. You teach them that they can take without giving. You teach them that relationships are one-way streets. And you teach yourself that your value lies in what you can do for others, not in who you are. This is dangerous for both of you. The perpetual user needs to learn that real relationships are based on mutual respect, mutual care, mutual giving. They need to learn that people aren't tools to be picked up when needed and discarded when not. They need to learn empathy, reciprocity, genuine connection. But they'll never learn these things if you keep allowing them to use you. Stopping your help to a perpetual user feels harsh. It feels mean. They'll make you feel like you're the problem. How could you be so selfish? How could you abandon them when they need you? But here's the truth. Saying no to a user isn't selfish. It's self-respectful. It's teaching them a lesson that nobody else has had the courage to teach them. And if they can't handle it, if they disappear from your life because you stopped being useful, then you know what? They were never really in your life to begin with. They were just passing through, taking what they could get. The fifth dangerous person you must not help is the person who refuses to help themselves. This is perhaps the most heartbreaking one because often these are people we love. These are family members, old friends, people we've known for years. We watch them make the same mistakes over and over. We watch them ignore good advice. We watch them choose the path of least resistance even when it leads to destruction. And we want so badly to save them. But here's what you need to understand. You cannot want someone's healing more than they want it themselves. You cannot care about someone's life more than they care about it. You cannot drag someone into their own potential. They have to want it. They have to choose it. They have to do the work. The person who refuses to help themselves is saying, through their actions, I'm not ready, I'm not willing, I'm not committed to change. And that's their right. That's their choice. As hard as it is to accept, everyone has the right to stay stuck. Everyone has the right to refuse growth. Everyone has the right to say no to their own evolution. When you help someone who refuses to help themselves, you're doing more harm than good. You're enabling their self-destruction. You're removing the natural consequences that might actually motivate them to change. You're interfering with the lessons that life is trying to teach them. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is to step back and let them hit bottom. Because it's only at the bottom that many people finally decide to climb. This doesn't mean you stop loving them. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you love them enough to let them learn their own lessons. It means you care enough to say, I can't do this for you and I won't pretend that I can. It means you're honest enough to admit that your help isn't helping, it's just postponing the inevitable. The sixth and final dangerous person you must not help is the person who wants you to compromise your own well-being for theirs. This person comes to you with needs that require you to sacrifice your health, your peace, your values, your boundaries, your own life. They want you to set yourself on fire to keep them warm. And if you're not careful, if you're not awake, you'll do it. Because you're a good person, because you care, because you've been taught that sacrifice is noble. But let me tell you something. Sacrifice isn't always noble. Sometimes sacrifice is just slow suicide. Sometimes sacrifice is just a socially acceptable way of destroying yourself. There's a huge difference between healthy giving and unhealthy sacrificing. Healthy giving comes from a full cup. It's sustainable. It's joyful. It doesn't deplete you because you're giving from your overflow. Unhealthy sacrificing comes from an empty cup. It's unsustainable. It's resentful. It depletes you because you're giving what you don't have. The person who wants you to compromise your well-being for theirs is asking you to live a lie. They're asking you to pretend that your needs don't matter. They're asking you to treat yourself as less important than they are. And if you agree to this, if you go along with this, you're not helping them. You're teaching them that it's okay to disrespect you. You're teaching them that your boundaries don't mean anything. You're teaching them that love means destroying yourself for others. Real love, true love, healthy love never asks someone to betray themselves. Real love says, take care of yourself first so you have something real to give. Real love says, your well-being matters just as much as mine. Real love says, I want you whole, not depleted. When someone genuinely cares about you, they don't want your help at the cost of your health, your sanity, your life. They want you thriving. They want you strong. They want you full. So when someone comes to you with a request that requires you to compromise your own well-being, the answer must be no. Not maybe, not let me think about it. No. A clear, clean, unapologetic no. And if they can't accept that, if they get angry or hurt or offended, that tells you everything you need to know. It tells you they were more interested in what you could do for them than in who you are. It tells you they saw you as a resource, not as a person. It tells you they don't really love you. They love what you give them. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, if I don't help these people, who will? If I turn my back on them, aren't I being just as selfish as they are? If I put up boundaries, aren't I being cold and uncaring? And these are good questions. These are important questions. But they're based on a false premise. The false premise is that you only have two options. Help everyone or help no one. Sacrifice yourself or be selfish. But there's a third way. There's a middle path. And that path is called wisdom. Wisdom knows the difference between helping and enabling. Wisdom knows the difference between compassion and codependency. Wisdom knows the difference between supporting someone's growth and supporting their dysfunction. Wisdom says, I will give generously to those who are doing the work, who are taking, responsibility, who are genuinely trying to help themselves. But I will not waste my precious energy on those who refuse to change, who blame everyone else, who see me as a resource to be exploited. This isn't about being hard. This isn't about being cold. This is about being smart with your love. This is about understanding that you have a finite amount of energy, time, and resources. You can't give to everyone, you can't help everyone, you can't save everyone, so you have to choose. You have to decide where your energy will do the most good. You have to invest in the people who will actually use your help to grow, not the people who will use it to stay stuck. Think about it this way. If you had $100 to give to charity, would you give it to an organization that was well-run, effective, making a real difference in the world? Or would you give it to an organization that was corrupt, wasteful, making no real impact? The choice is obvious, right? You'd give to the organization that would use your money well. The same principle applies to your energy, your time, your help. Give it to the people who will use it well. Give it to the people who are ready. Give it to the people who are willing. Give it to the people who respect it. And what about those 6 dangerous people? What happens to them if you don't help? Well, here's the beautiful truth. They'll either figure it out on their own, or they'll find someone else to use, or they'll hit bottom and finally wake up. Either way, it's not your responsibility. You are not responsible for other people's lives. You are not responsible for other people's choices. You are not responsible for other people's happiness. You are responsible for your own life, your own choices, your own happiness. And when you take full responsibility for yourself, when you stop trying to save everyone else, something magical happens. You become a beacon of light. You become an example of what's possible. You become proof that people can thrive when they take responsibility for their own lives. The professional victim sees you thriving and thinks, maybe I don't have to be a victim. Maybe I can take charge of my life too. The energy vampire sees you with strong boundaries and thinks, maybe I need to generate my own energy. Maybe I need to stop feeding off others. The chronic blamer sees you taking responsibility and thinks, maybe I've been wrong. Maybe I do have power here. The perpetual user sees you refusing to be used and thinks, maybe I need to learn to give as well as take. The person who refuses to help themselves sees you stepping back and thinks, maybe it's time I start helping myself. And the person who wanted you to compromise your well-being sees you honoring yourself and thinks, maybe I need to honor others too. You see, sometimes the most powerful help you can give someone is to stop helping them. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to let them struggle. Sometimes the greatest teaching is done through your absence, not your presence. This goes against everything you've been taught, I know, but it's true. And if you can accept this truth, if you can integrate this truth, if you can live this truth, your life will transform. You'll stop feeling drained all the time. You'll stop feeling resentful about all you give and how little you get back. You'll stop feeling like a doormat that everyone walks on. Instead, you'll feel energized. You'll feel empowered. You'll feel like yourself again. And here's the really beautiful part. When you stop wasting your energy on people who won't use it well, you'll have so much more energy for the people who will. You'll be able to show up fully for the people who are doing the work. You'll be able to give generously without feeling depleted. You'll be able to make a real difference in the lives of people who actually want to change. But to get there, you have to do something that feels impossible at first. You have to learn to say no. You have to learn to create boundaries. You have to learn to protect your energy. And most importantly, you have to learn to live with the discomfort of other people's disappointment in you. Because when you stop helping these 6 dangerous people, they will be disappointed. They will be angry. They will accuse you of changing, of not being the person you used to be. And you know what? They're right. You're not the person you used to be. You used to be someone who gave without wisdom. You used to be someone who helped without discernment. You used to be someone who sacrificed yourself without question. But you're not that person anymore. You've evolved. You've grown. You've learned. And that's something to celebrate, not apologize for. Let me be clear about something. This doesn't mean you become a cold person. This doesn't mean you stop caring about people. This doesn't mean you walk through the world with your heart closed. In fact, it's the opposite. When you stop wasting your compassion on people who misuse it, you have more compassion to give to those who honor it. When you stop sacrificing yourself for people who don't appreciate it, you have more of yourself to share with those who do. When you stop trying to save people who don't want to be saved, you can actually help people who are ready for help. This is about becoming a wise giver instead of a foolish one. This is about understanding that love without wisdom is just sentimentality. This is about recognizing that helping someone stay stuck is not actually helping them at all. This is about having the courage to do what's right even when it feels wrong. This is about trusting that people have their own path, their own lessons, their own growth, and that sometimes the kindest thing you can do is get out of the way and let them walk it. Think about the people in your life right now. Think about the ones who drain you, who use you, who blame you, who expect you to sacrifice yourself for them. Think about how much energy you've given them. Think about how little has changed. Think about how exhausted you feel. Now ask yourself, is this really helping? Is this really love? Is this really what I want to do with my one precious life? Because here's the thing, you don't have forever. You don't have unlimited energy. You don't have endless time. You have right now. You have this moment. You have this one beautiful, miraculous, temporary life. And you get to choose how you spend it. You get to choose where you invest your energy. You get to choose who you help and who you don't. And if you choose wisely, if you choose consciously, if you choose from a place of wisdom rather than guilt or obligation or fear, your life will be so much richer, so much fuller, so much more meaningful. Saying no to the professional victim isn't cruel. It's giving them an opportunity to discover their own strength. Saying no to the energy vampire isn't cold. It's forcing them to generate their own energy. Saying no to the chronic blamer isn't harsh. It's inviting them to take responsibility. Saying no to the perpetual user isn't mean. It's teaching them about reciprocity. Saying no to the person who refuses to help themselves isn't abandonment. It's respecting their choice and their path. Saying no to the person who wants you to compromise your well-being isn't selfish, it's self-loving. Every no to these dangerous people is a yes to yourself. Every boundary you create is an act of self-respect. Every time you protect your energy, you're honoring the precious life you've been given. And this matters. This matters so much because you matter. Your life matters, your energy matters, your peace matters, your well-being matters. You are not a resource to be used up. You are not a battery to be drained. You are not a tool to solve other people's problems. You are a human being with your own needs, your own dreams, your own path. When you finally accept this, when you finally own this, when you finally live from this truth, everything changes. The people who were using you will fall away. The people who were draining you will move on. The people who were taking advantage of your kindness will find someone else. And yes, it will hurt at first. Yes, you'll feel guilty. Yes, you'll wonder if you did the right thing. But stay the course. Trust the process. Because on the other side of this discomfort is freedom. On the other side of this guilt is peace. On the other side of this change is the life you've always wanted but never thought you deserved. You deserve relationships that fill you up instead of emptying you out. You deserve friends who give as much as they take. You deserve people in your life who respect your boundaries, honor your needs, appreciate your help. You deserve to wake up in the morning feeling energized instead of exhausted. You deserve to go through your day without constantly being interrupted by other people's crises. You deserve to give from a full cup instead of an empty one. But you'll never have any of this if you keep helping the 6 dangerous people. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get really honest with yourself. Look at your life. Look at your relationships. Look at where your energy is going. Identify the professional victims, the energy vampires, the chronic blamers, the perpetual users, the people who refuse to help themselves, the people who want you to compromise your well-being. See them clearly, name them honestly, and then make a decision. Decide that you're done. Decide that you're not doing this anymore. Decide that your life is too precious to waste on people who won't value your help. And then take action. Start creating boundaries. Start saying no. Start protecting your energy. And when people push back, when they get upset, when they accuse you of changing, stay strong, stay clear, stay committed to your own well-being, because this is your life. This is your one shot. This is your opportunity to live in a way that honors who you are and what you're here to do. Don't waste it trying to save people who don't want to be saved. Don't sacrifice it for people who wouldn't do the same for you. Don't give it away to people who don't value it. Instead, invest your precious energy in people who are ready to receive it. Give your time to people who will use it to grow. Share your wisdom with people who want to learn. Support people who are doing the work. Encourage people who are taking responsibility. Stand beside people who are helping themselves. These are the people who deserve your help. These are the people who will honor your gift. These are the people who will transform your energy into something beautiful. And here's what will happen. You'll start to feel like yourself again. You'll start to remember who you are beneath all the giving, beneath all the sacrificing, beneath all the helping. You'll rediscover your own dreams, your own needs, your own life. You'll have energy for your own growth. You'll have time for your own development. You'll have space for your own peace. And from this place of wholeness, from this place of fullness, from this place of authenticity, you'll be able to give in a way that's truly helpful. You'll be able to love in a way that's truly loving. You'll be able to serve in a way that's truly serving. This is the paradox. When you stop trying to help everyone, you're actually able to help the people who need it most. When you stop giving indiscriminately, you're able to give powerfully. When you stop sacrificing yourself, you're able to show up fully. This is wisdom. This is maturity. This is the path of the awakened giver. So stop helping the 6 dangerous people. Stop enabling the professional victim. Stop feeding the energy vampire. Stop participating with the chronic blamer. Stop allowing the perpetual user. Stop rescuing the person who refuses to help themselves. Stop compromising your well-being for others. And start living your life. Start honoring your needs. Start respecting your boundaries. Start protecting your peace. Start valuing your energy. Start choosing yourself. This isn't selfishness. This is self-love. And self-love is the foundation of all genuine love. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot help others if you've destroyed yourself. So fill your own cup first. Take care of your own needs first. Protect your own peace first. And then from that place of fullness, from that place of strength, from that place of wisdom, give to those who are ready to receive. Help those who are willing to be helped. Support those who are doing the work. This is the path. This is the way. This is how you live a life that matters, that makes a difference, that leaves the world better than you found it. Not by sacrificing yourself for everyone, not by saying yes to every request, not by giving until there's nothing left, but by being wise with your love, discerning with your help, and protective of your precious energy. When you do this, when you really do this, you become a force for good in this world. You become an example of what's possible. You become a light that guides others home, not because you've sacrificed yourself, but because you've honored yourself. And that makes all the difference.